How's it going, everybody? ISU Reaper 31 here, and welcome back to the Manager Mode series on FIFA 15 with Lazio. It's my season review of my second season as a manager in FIFA, and of course, I've got the always buddy of mine, Matt 10, on the Skype chat with me, and we're going to talk a little about Lazio this season and how well I did in my second season. Matt, great to have you on once again.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Fantastic to be part of the Lazio review side.
Yeah, Matt's again got all caught up with my episodes of Lazio. Now, just a quick question: what do you think the difference between season one and season two, like you've seen in just like my general overall managerial?
I don't know if it's, you know, I don't know if it's really managerial that was the issue. You mean for Everton and Lazio, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, you just played better
Mm-hmm.
with Lazio, and you had a better squad, but you also just played better. I remember watching the full matches on Everton, and it's tougher competition, but at the same time, you made your passes were off a little bit, and some of the finishing was pretty horrendous. I mean, you're just as much as the player as well. If you had left it up to the computer or something, that'd be a little easier. But I think the transactions and allowing some of the younger guys to come up to challenge some of the veterans as well have been pretty good. And considering you had Candreva, is that how it's pronounced his name?
Candreva, yep.
Candreva, he's been out for a little bit, but then he came back, and so I think he kind of gave you guys a good boost towards the end there.
Yeah, it was a real shame when we lost Candreva for a couple months there in the middle of the season. It really kind of hurt us for our title push this season.
Right,
but,
right.
We did have like the youngster. I know you're probably gonna say Lombardi was a guy that stepped in, the 20-year-old who came in and played actually pretty well.
Yeah,
So
I liked Lombardi. I don't know, towards the end there, he didn't really make it. I think your main guy was El Uribe.
Yeah.
I know he was not super young, but
after after the January transfer of
Yeah.
El Uribe, after the disappointment that was signing Alcaraz from
Yeah.
Inter.
I'm telling you, man, I told you, I don't like him.
Yeah, he lost favor with me very quickly, and but we were able to get a straight swap for him for El Uribe, and it was well worth it in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think in terms of the original question about the managerial, I think that's really what it came down to. Is you made some good moves, and you stuck with a good lineup, good formation, and I think you did it properly because everybody knows once you hit that January, everybody pushes, right? And
Yeah.
you were wavering there before. You made the right transactions, and then you did exactly what a manager should do in that January transfer window, and you guys pushed all the way through. So
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Was able to maintain that Champions League qualifying for next season, which is amazing. Quick look at the
gonna be
standings
fun.
here. Obviously, Juve won the title. It was definitely they were definitely the best team in Serie A. Again, they're just so stacked, just a very talented team. Although we did have a pretty epic win against them, I believe,
Yeah.
in Turin.
That was crazy.
That was probably one of my highlights of my season, right up there with maybe Southampton when I was playing it with Everton. But
Ross Barkley.
yeah, the Ross Barkley goal. And then Milan finished second, and I'm okay with that because Milan were definitely to me the second best team in the division. I mean, we played them. I think we played them 2 times in the league, and then once in the cup. And
All right.
they were very tough matches, a very stacked side as well, and they were just on fire. Yeah, we
Yeah.
ended up third, which I was pretty pleased with myself. I didn't really know how this season was going to go when I got in. I was like, okay, I've got some talented players, obviously Candreva, but it was just finding the right formation. And obviously, to me, this team's built like a 4-3-3 roster, but dropping back to that 4-4-1-1 really helped because
Yeah.
Candreva and Lulik on the wings could definitely run up and down the wings all day and do a good job, and it helped us out quite a bit.
I think your staggered formation worked really nicely. I think what's the coolest stat is that you only scored 55 goals and
Mm,
still finished in third. You know,
yeah,
and that's pretty remarkable.
yeah,
And then to
yeah.
think like Milan scored 70
hmm
plus, and in Milan, Inter Milan scored 73. So it's
I
pretty
mean, it's a
crazy.
credit to our defense,
Mm,
obviously. I mean, our back line was pretty consistent throughout the year. I signed that right back Pekarik right away this early in the season because I felt like we needed a number one right back, and he
right.
actually shared quite a bit of playing time with some of the other younger guys. But he did all right towards the end of the season. I was relying on him more and more, and he was pretty solid. The guy from I believe he came from Hamburg, if I'm not mistaken, in Germany,
Hmm.
but very solid wing. Yeah, defensively it was good. Yeah, I was in our goalkeeping of Marchetti and Baressa. Both of them were just solid options for me all season. Baressa
Hmm.
especially just surprised me how well he played, and I'm gonna have a dilemma here, a goalkeeper here in the near future if Baressa keeps his form up like he has been the last couple seasons, or like this season, I should say.
That Sassuolo match that you played, I think it was Marchetti. And what's your Marchetti? Yeah,
Marchetti,
he made an incredible save in
yeah,
that game.
Marchetti's a solid goalkeeper. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just a shame I didn't play him more, but Baressa was just so hot
Oh yeah, he
there in the
was.
middle of the season because I
Yeah.
gave him all those Europa League starts, and then he really kind of took off, and he just became my first choice like all the time because he was just on
Right.
amazing form, and I'm like, but I didn't want to lose Marchetti either because Marchetti's still technically the number one in the
Hmm.
squad, but yeah, we got him in there, and he seemed pretty happy. Quick look at the teams getting relegated. Atlanta and Livorno and Bari are going down back to Serie
Or
B.
just keep scrolling down. Who is it? Atalanta and there we
Livorno,
go.
Bari.
And Bari. Oh, Bari. I like Bari. I used to use them
Bari
all the
was
time.
such a tough matchup for
Yeah.
me. Those guys were just so scrappy, and I think I struggled both those games I played with them. But
Oh man, look at Torino. They really fell down. Wow.
yeah, that's why that match with Torino late in the season was so huge for them because they were fighting like it was the last day for them
Hmm.
to stay up, and they just barely stayed up there. It came down to the final week, but obviously Juve was definitely the class of the field once again. They clinched it pretty early, and it was just basically a scrap for the remaining Euro Europe qualifying spots. And fortunate to say, we did pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, pretty fantastic for your first season.
Okay. Oh, I should look at the cup. Who won the Italian Cup? We should check that out real quick. Uh, what were your thoughts on the cup matches this season? I only played a couple, I think.
Um, you know, you know, you could have done a little bit better. Yeah, not playing many of them. I mean, I kind of um was rooting for some of the other the Europa matches more than anything.
Okay.
Facing
So,
off against PSV, yeah.
hmm
But wow, look at Juve.
Juve, it's the Juve and Milan in the final, and Juve was them 4-0, and that's pretty much it. I would say that's pretty representative of how the Italian league was this season. Juve was top, Milan was second. But look
Yeah.
at Atlanta got to the semis, so did Torino, so good job for them.
And you losing to Milan, who eventually made it to the final, that's got to look somewhat good.
And it was a competitive game. It was a
Yeah.
back and forth game. I remember that cup match, and it was just a shame that we gave it up at the end. We'll gotta wait for the stream. It's always fun. Such a delay. Let's see here. I should stay on top of this a little more. Let's do this.
UEFA
Okay.
Super Cup.
The Super Cup. Bayern won that against Tottenham. Obviously, the
Wow.
winners last season in the Champions League and Europa League, respectively.
Hmm.
We'll scroll over to the Champions League real quick. Do, 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 do.
Man,
I need to. All right, here we go.
Barcelona
And
and
it's not completed
Bayern.
yet. It's got Barcelona and Bayern in the final. So Bayern
Fantastic.
looking to repeat as UEFA Champions League
Mm-hmm.
champions. And then we'll scroll over the Europa League quickly here, or as quickly as we can.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But
Man,
not a big surprise though in the Champions League.
no.
And there you go. Look at Man United. So for the second year in a row in my career,
Yeah.
a BPL team has won the Europa League. This time it's Man United.
Beating Besiktas.
That's the team, Besiktas in Turkey. Yes, I couldn't think of the name of that team. I'm like,
Yeah, I
I know
always
it's
remember that
Turkish.
BJK they have as their at the top of their what's it, their
So
badge there.
they both denied an all-German Europa League final. It looks like. Looks like Liverpool got knocked out pretty early. See, Inter and Napoli fought in a tight round of 16 matchup.
Yeah, and the Besiktas took out Napoli.
Yeah. So good job for those guys. And I won't show any of. I think that's it. The next competition's obviously the Euros, but unfortunately, I did not get in as Sweden. I did not qualify. I just missed out by a point, unfortunately. So no Zlatan at Euro 2016, which is disappointing. But I still got to keep my job. So at Sweden, so that's always good. Let's see. I want to take a quick look to see if we got. No. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and. Anything else you want to add to this season before I scroll ahead and look at whether I stay at Lazio or not?
You know, man, it was great that you could actually taste a significant victory. I think with how kind of the ups and downs at Everton, we weren't sure when you were going to get sacked, and everything, and then all of a sudden, just so random like that, and then seeing this is great to see overall, and hopefully you get some big signings if you decide to stay, and I don't know, so good stuff.
Okay. So right now I've simmed ahead to the end of the season. It looks like the board's reviewing my progress. It says I'm under scrutiny, but we'll see. I got a lot of players coming back from loans. So
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
why do I still have 4 emails? Okay, hold on. There we go. Let's get rid of these emails. Alright, let's go ahead to the end of the season and see what happens here. As soon as I finish scrolling through my emails here.
Yeah, on the stream.
Yeah. It's so annoying.
Super season.
Alright, end of the season. It is a super season for me. We did meet all of our objectives. And when
Nice.
I qualified for Champions League, we did that. We got to the knockout rounds of the Europa League, and we got round of 16 in the Italian Cup. Marvelous in the Europa League. Thank you. Okay. It looking like I'm going to be sticking around. I'll go ahead and advance. So the board is pleased with me, and I don't blame them because I really brought this team up. This was a 7th place team the season before. Was kind of underperforming, and I managed to really prop them up, make them a contender.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they needed. I don't recall how they finished last season. Do you remember?
the season before they were 7th.
Yeah, so
And I got them up to 3rd with really
that's
not many moves actually.
right for what
Considering
you
I only
did.
made a few moves because I was, like I said, I spent all my money on scouts and my youth academy build up.
Right, exactly.
Quickly taking a look here, just what jobs are out there if I was interested. I could go to Atlanta, who are not in Serie A. They should be in Serie B. And Torino is the next one. Once I watch the stream, I'm getting ahead of the stream again. Get settled down. But maybe they just haven't clicked over just quite yet. We got Torino there.
Ooh, Torino.
That'd be a fun one to do, but
unnecessary.
Yeah, not necessary. Next one is Sassuolo, or not Sassuolo, Sampdoria. I always get those two mixed up. Sampdoria is interesting. They don't really have a lot of talent.
Ooh, Sevilla.
Sevilla, oof, in Spain. That's an interesting one.
La Liga. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I would definitely be interested in jumping. I was really hoping maybe the Everton would come crawling back and just say, "We want you back."
It looks like it's just Atalanta, Torino, and Sevilla.
I should have checked to see if they. Yeah, we can check the Premier League real quick just to see how that ended up. I was meant to check that before. See how Everton did the season before.
6.
So 6th place for the Toffees. Yeah, they had a good season. It seemed like they were pretty solid and defensively.
And you finished with them or
like 10th, I think.
Yeah, like 10th.
But I was towards the bottom pretty much all towards the season.
Right.
But Chelsea won the title. Fair enough. The main Manchester clubs are up there. What a close title race that was between first and third, and it was Tottenham, Arsenal, and Everton kind of fighting for that 4th spot.
We got relegated.
Your Villains actually ended very well up in 8th place.
It's not bad.
Just on the outside going in, and
not bad at all.
Wow, West Ham goes down after one.
Oh, tell Moose.
By 1 point, Wigan.
Sorry, Moose.
Wigan, move up. Stay up top. What a close relegation battle there.
Queens and Cardiff, sounds about right.
Yeah, Cardiff, they came up this season. They go back down. QPR, man, remember my season, they were up in the top 10.
They were doing well.
They had a very good season, and I almost went to the QPR. Kind of glad I didn't now. They only won 6 matches the whole season. So they definitely, 83 goals conceded. Yikes.
Cardiff only won 3.
Yeah, but it's a shame for the Hammers. They're going to go back down.
Man.
I think by this time they're already at the Olympic Stadium, so they're going to go to the championship in the Olympic Stadium.
And not afford rent.
Yeah, not afford the rent, exactly.
Okay.
We can scroll through some of the bigger clubs real quick, and before we wrap this up, just kind of see how the rest of the series ended up. We'll just go to the big boys. You see, wow, France! What a surprise that is.
Saint Etienne.
Oh. PSG fell all the way to 5th.
That's not good. Well, they should have came crawling to you.
Yeah, well, there was one team, Stade Rennes. I remember they offered me a job. They finished 8th, so that's not too bad for them. They were in the fight. Let's see what the Germans here real quickly are doing. And then Bayern Munich obviously won the title. Schalke was up there. Pretty straightforward. We'll scroll over to the Spanish league, see who won that, because I'm curious. PSV won the Dutch league, if you saw that real quickly. Real Madrid absolutely smoked the competition this season.
It's ridiculous. Where did Barcelona fit? Oh, yeah, second, of course.
Second. Not too bad.
Valencia
in the fight this season. Alright. So, let's talk about, real quickly, about what is going forward for this squad next season. Obviously, let's say who do you think was the best player that played for my squad throughout the season? Who do you feel like
Um,
was kind
what's
of
his
the
name? What's his name? Is he a defender or your defensive mid? All right, let me look at it. Biglia.
Biglia?
Yeah.
Okay,
So consistent. That guy's just.
he's
I
very
mean,
good.
if he made a mistake, he came back and made up for it.
He's a
Like,
very good
yeah.
all-around midfielder. I think he started out high work rate, so he's all over the pitch. But I think his attack work rate starting to go down since he is quite old.
Mhm.
And just his stamina is just the only problem I have with Bigley. I just can't keep him in there a full match, and the way I run my midfielders up and down the pitch kind of hurts that. I would say Bigley absolutely is one of my top 11 guys that I played
Yeah.
all season.
Who do you think was your MVP, if you will?
MVP can if he didn't get hurt. I mean, Candreva,
Andreva. Yeah. Of
because
course, if he didn't get hurt.
he was the anchor of this team for sure, and
Mhm.
he was. If he didn't get hurt, I'm pretty sure I would have contended for goals, top goal scorer of the season, because we
Yeah,
were
I
on
love it.
pace
14
before he
goals
got
in
hurt.
total.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of tapered off towards the end of the season, but
He's a little getting up there a bit. 29.
but he's
So
worth almost 50 million.
exactly. That's crazy.
It's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
So we obviously have a few things to talk about as far as the squad is concerned. I'm looking at Anze, who's going to be transfer listed this summer. He's probably going to go, unfortunately. He was kind of the other center mid I played alongside Biglia, the youngster. Just couldn't get an agreement on wages this season, and so
Mhm.
he's came back to me and said, I want to leave, so he's going
Mhm.
to leave, so we're going to get some money there. Another guy, another one of my main starters that's going to want to leave is Canna, my center back.
Mhm.
He's homesick. It just doesn't seem like he wants to stick around, so I'm just going to transfer him and see what happens next season. And also, I think Siani, one of my other older center backs, is also wanting to. Well, actually, it looks like he's going to retire this season, so maybe I'll keep him around just for the sake of retired at Lazio.
Yeah, that'd be
He
good.
did want to leave too, so but yeah, if he wants to stick around one more season, I'm happy to have him in the backup. But a center back's probably going to be my main focus this transfer window
Mhm.
because I feel like the center backs, they're solid, but they can be inconsistent at times, and I did
Right.
some swapping. I have some guys in mind that I want to try to bring into the squad, but I'm gonna have to get rid of some players because we're pretty full right now, the roster.
What kind of positions are you looking at?
Well, center back for one. In the middle of the pitch, we did sign. I don't know if he's showing up here or not just yet. We signed Fernandez on a free transfer from Florentina, who's going to play.
Okay.
He's a cam. He's about the same age as Ederson. He's probably a little bit better overall, but he could slot in for the replacement for Anze pretty easily. Um, Striker Djordjevic is going to be a big question mark this season. The last two matches he really pulled it clutch for us.
Yeah, he did. He did. He was
They got 3 goals in 2 matches.
yeah, 3 goals, and then I still remember missing that sitter though.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's okay. It could be user
it's
error.
going to be interesting what's going to happen when El Uribe and him are kind of fighting for playing time.
Mm-hmm.
But the $22.5 million value is very tempting for me to cash in now because he's just been so inconsistent. He reminds me a lot of. He's a lot like Lukaku. He's a big guy. He's solid. He doesn't quite have the pace or the dribbling as Lukaku. But I mean, if he could miss some open sitters, but if he's in the right spot, he can score some goals. But I definitely like El Uribe a little bit better up there because he just seems to have a knack for finding the right spot.
Gotcha.
A problem we're going to have to deal with is my wings. I'm very loaded on the wings, on the left and the right side.
Right.
Candreva's obviously going to be sticking around, but I got Rossi and Lombardi. I'm thinking. I almost contemplated letting Rossi go, but I signed him for another year. But I think I might get rid of him just because Lombardi's played so well. He's played a lot better than Lombardi, so Rossi's probably gonna be a victim just to free up some spots so I can bring in some younger players.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
And on the left side, Lulik's obviously still number one. He's very solid, but we've got Keita played very well when he was injured, but also we've got Felipe Anderson, who I sent out on loan this season, who's back, who actually
Yeah,
did apparently a lot better than Keita did this season. So I think, and they're both considered important players, so they might be fighting. I got three players that want a lot of playing time, so I think Keita's going to go out on loan for the season, just so because he's only 21, so he's quite young, so we can get him to grow. And I'll keep Anderson and kind of see what he's going to do this season, and then kind of make up my mind. But eventually, either Lulik, one of those three guys, are going to have to leave the club because I've just got so much depth in those spots. I mean, I signed a couple of youngsters on the wings this season to fill some gaps. But mostly it's just going to be depth, I think, because we're in the Champions League this season, so we're going to have to focus on depth of the squad. We've got a few holes we need to fill, like center back and striker, and maybe looking for another young midfielder to fill in some depth. But those are going to be kind of mostly the middle of the pitch. I'm thinking it's going to be where I'm going to focus because I think we're secure on the wings, we're secure at the fullback spots. Goalkeeper is not a question right now. Everybody's playing very well.
yeah, exactly.
But that is that. So I'm pretty stoked that I was able to stay at Lazio. Lazio were like, yeah, you can stay.
Yeah, why not? You get to stay. You get to, I mean, I don't know. I guess you'll find out the expectations and everything, but finishing third is probably going to result in needing to finish first.
All right. So looking at the board's objectives, they just sent me an email. They want me to finish in the qualify for Champions League once again.
Okay.
And we can. And I'm maybe thinking if we're on a good run again this season, then we may jump up and maybe press the board for more money and maybe press for like winning the league or something like that if we're in the position to do it. But I probably won't push it right away. It'd probably be like a January thing where I decide, okay, if we get some more money, we can bring in this player and do some damage.
Right.
We've got the budget, 25 million. And 120 on the wage. So
Some big names you can find, or maybe just one big name, or I don't know.
yeah.
It's gonna be exciting though.
But yeah, I'm just right now. Most of my transfers I'm looking at are going to be younger players. I'm really looking for youth. I think this coming transfer window to fill some gaps. Some talented youth guys that aren't going to get playing time at the clubs they're at now,
Right.
and really kind of show that they're willing to can make an impact, if not in the first squad, but in like maybe my cup squad or my Champions League squad
Right.
for next season. But all right,
Definitely.
pretty stoked actually that I kept my job. I would have been disappointed if I would have finished outside in the Europa League again, and they were like, "Nope, you're fired." I'd be like, "Come on, I had an amazing year." Let's take a look at manager of the season and the news feed real quick while I wait for the stream to catch up. Alright, so manager of the season obviously went to
Massimiliano Allegri.
Allegri wins it again, pretty
Yeah.
fair. Juve were the man to beat. Tevez has been named player of the season. Once we scroll over there, you'll see. If it ever
Yeah.
clicks over.
Yeah, exactly. There's Tevez.
Chavez, he was such a beast. Playing him, he was scary. Like whenever
Oh
he had the
yeah.
ball, I think he had a couple great goals against us. Another guy that's kind of got my eye is this Barbo from Cagliari. I know he's at Roma in real life now, but he's been pretty disgruntled over there. So, and I think some of the big clubs are sniffing around, seeing how much he's going to be bring in.
Nice. Yeah, that could be.
He's a very
How
good.
old is he?
He is 26,
Oh wow.
and he has got 94, 98 pace, and dribbling in between 88 and 92.
Man,
He is quick and great ball control.
that'd be a good
I
one.
know he's a beast player, and we can afford him, so I definitely have to keep that in mind. Do I want to have another top three striker? But then that maybe give me an excuse to get rid of Djordjevic because he's on the wrong side of 25. But we'll see. But I think that'll do it for this season
Good season,
review.
man. Looking forward to watching them
Yeah.
and being completely caught up. So I look forward to watching them all.
Yep. It was definitely fun, and you wanted me to take Florentina.
Hey, that could have been fun too.
Could have been, but
You don't know that.
it would have been a little bit of a struggle.
Yeah,
No,
naturally. They finished seventh.
yeah, they finished pretty respectable.
Wow.
Oh man, just what a fun season this was. It was just every match was so intense. It could have went. Some games went better than others, and then there were just some games that we just dominated and played out of our skin. The squad is very very solid. There's not a lot of question as to who I should start and who I shouldn't be. But like I said, I focused Lazio to be on a youth movement because we do have a lot of older players playing right now. So I'm hoping to fill those gaps with youth players, and we found some beastly ones that I can't wait till they start growing.
Nice.
And I think Lazio could be a force maybe to take on Juve in the future, but this season we'll have to wait and see. I mean, maybe someone like Barbo, bringing him in as another striker option would be just what we need to kind of push us over the edge to
Yeah,
contend us with the top clubs.
I agree. Yeah, that'd
But
be good. Have somebody like that who could just go crazy, score 30 goals or something.
yeah, exactly. All right, well, it's been fun. I'd like to thank Matt once again for keeping the baby quiet while we
Yeah.
streamed this my season review. I apologize having to wait a few days, but you know how newborns are, man. They're fussy.
Know it. I know it, and I appreciate your patience on letting me do this. But always a pleasure, and super excited for this season. I want the next episode out already, so get going on it.
Yeah, if you want to check out Matt's channel, it's on YouTube, Matt10L. And that's his Twitter handle as well. You can go check him out. He does quite a bit of stuff. He does a little bit of everything. And
Yeah, I
he's
do
doing a
too
lot more.
much.
He's got a lot more on the docket here in the future, I see.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
check out, and you can obviously check out the sliders at Operation Sports, the community set sliders. They're very good. That's what we use for this series. And I hope to continue bringing you fantastic 1080 60 FPS full matches for your enjoyment, and watch me struggle and throw a fit when things don't go my way. But once again, I'd like to thank Matt for coming on, and we'll wrap this up by this episode up. And so until next time, this is ISU Reaper 31, and I'll see you around.